For centuries, Japan's samurai class stood at the pinnacle of society. Guardians of honor, tradition, and feudal hierarchy, they were the unyielding backbone of a nation rooted in stability and loyalty. The samurai, or bushi, were not only warriors, but also the ruling military class, eventually becoming the highest-ranking social caste during the Edo period. As the 19th century progressed, the winds of change grew stronger, culminating in the Meiji Restoration of 1868. This pivotal event marked the end of over 2 centuries of Tokugawa shogunate rule and the beginning of Japan's rapid transformation into a modern state. The Meiji Restoration led to significant social, political, and economic reforms, including the dissolution of the samurai's traditional privileges. The government declared all classes to be equal, and by 1876, it banned the wearing of swords, a symbol deeply associated with samurai identity. In this video, we'll delve into the personal account of a samurai witnessing the end of Japan's feudal era, grappling with the challenges of modernization. Many samurai faced an identity crisis during this period, struggling to find their place in the rapidly changing society. Some adapted by taking up jobs in business and the professions, while others resisted the changes, leading to events like the Satsuma Rebellion of 1877. This exploration will provide insight into the complexities and human experiences during Japan's transition from a feudal society to a modern nation-state. The samurai's world revolved around Bushido, the code of honor. This ethical framework emphasized virtues such as loyalty, courage, and self-discipline, dictating unwavering loyalty to one's lord, mastery of martial arts, and an unflinching commitment to duty. However, the arrival of Commodore Matthew Perry's Black Ships in 1853, which forcibly ended Japan's 220-year-old policy of isolation, exposed the nation's technological and military vulnerabilities. This pivotal event led many samurai, myself included, to question whether honor could coexist with the demands of a changing world. The sudden exposure to Western technology and culture created a sense of urgency among the samurai class to reassess their traditional roles and values. We were torn. Some believed we should embrace modernization to preserve Japan's sovereignty, recognizing that adopting Western advancements was essential for national survival. Others clung fiercely to tradition, fearing that such changes would erode the very fabric of Japanese society. The debates often turned heated as the realization that Japan's feudal era was on its last breath loomed over us like an unyielding storm. This internal conflict was exemplified by figures like Saigo Takamori, who initially supported the Meiji government's modernization efforts, but later led the Satsuma Rebellion in 1877, opposing the rapid westernization that threatened samurai traditions. The Meiji Restoration brought about significant social changes, including the abolition of the samurai class's privileges and the establishment of a conscripted army, further intensifying the struggle between tradition and modernization. This period of upheaval forced the samurai to navigate a complex landscape, balancing their deep-seated values with the pressing need to adapt to a rapidly evolving world. The Bakumatsu period, Mumo, end of the Bakufu, marked the final years of the Edo period, characterized by the decline of the Tokugawa shogunate and the tumultuous transition towards the Meiji Restoration. This era, spanning from 1853 to 1867, was a time of significant political upheaval and social transformation in Japan. During this time, Japan faced increasing pressure from Western powers to open its ports and engage in international trade, challenging the nation's long-standing isolationist policies. The arrival of Commodore Perry's Black Ships in 1853 exemplified this external pressure, leading to internal conflicts among the Japanese leadership. The major ideological divide during the Bakumatsu period was between the pro-imperial nationalists known as Isshin Shishi and the shogunate forces, which included the elite Shinsengumi swordsmen. This internal strife culminated in the Boshin War, a civil war fought from 1868 to 1869 between forces of the ruling Tokugawa shogunate and a coalition seeking to seize political power in the name of the imperial court. The conflict was not merely a political struggle but also a profound personal ordeal for many samurai. The principles of Bushido, emphasizing honor, courage, and loyalty, were deeply ingrained in the samurai ethos. However, the realities of civil war often led to situations where samurai found themselves in direct conflict with former comrades, challenging their adherence to these principles. The emotional and psychological toll of such encounters was significant, leading to a sense of sorrow and disillusionment among many warriors. The Bakumatsu period was a complex and transformative era in Japanese history, setting the stage for the rapid modernization and societal changes that would follow during the Meiji Restoration. When Emperor Meiji officially assumed power on September 8, 1868, his government initiated sweeping reforms that dismantled Japan's feudal system. The Meiji Restoration sought to modernize Japan by adopting Western political, military, and social structures. One of the most profound changes was the abolition of the samurai class, which had been the warrior aristocracy for centuries. The government declared all classes to be equal, and by 1876 it banned the wearing of swords, a privilege that had been exclusive to samurai. The dissolution of the samurai class was accompanied by the establishment of a conscripted military, replacing the traditional samurai role as the nation's protectors. This transition was part of a broader effort to create a modern, centralized state capable of resisting Western imperialism. The government introduced universal conscription in 1873, requiring all male subjects to serve in the military, thereby diminishing the exclusive status of the samurai. The pain of losing our status was compounded by the rapid adoption of Western customs. Traditional samurai attire, such as the hakama, a type of traditional Japanese clothing, was replaced by Western-style suits, and the traditional chômage, top-knot hairstyle, was abandoned in favor of short haircuts. Cities transformed with the construction of brick buildings, railroads, and telegraph lines, symbolizing Japan's swift embrace of modernization. Many samurai struggled to find their place in this new world. While some adapted by becoming businessmen, educators, or government officials, others felt adrift, clinging to fragments of an identity that no longer fit the modern age. The loss of their social status and traditional roles led to economic hardship and identity crises for many former samurai. This period of transition was marked by several samurai uprisings, such as the Satsuma Rebellion in 1877, where disaffected samurai, led by Saigo Takamori, rebelled against the Meiji government's reforms but were ultimately defeated. The Meiji era was a time of profound transformation as Japan rapidly industrialized and adopted Western institutions. For the samurai, this meant the end of a way of life that had defined Japanese society for centuries, forcing them to navigate the challenges of a rapidly changing world. By 1877, discontent among former samurai had reached its zenith, culminating in the Satsuma Rebellion. This insurrection was led by Saigo Takamori, a revered samurai and former government official, who became disillusioned with the rapid modernization and westernization of Japan. The rebellion was primarily fueled by the samurai's loss of status, economic hardships, and opposition to the Meiji government's policies. The Battle of Shiroyama, fought on September 24, 1877, was the final and decisive engagement of the Satsuma Rebellion. Saigo's forces, numbering approximately 350 to 400 samurai, faced an overwhelming imperial army of about 30,000 troops, equipped with modern weaponry, including artillery and warships. Despite being vastly outnumbered and outgunned, the samurai fought with unwavering determination, embodying the spirit of Bushido, the way of the warrior. Their final stand at Shiroyama was marked by fierce combat and a profound sense of honor, even in the face of certain death. The battle concluded with the annihilation of Saigo's forces and his subsequent death, symbolizing the end of the samurai era in Japan. The Satsuma Rebellion and the Battle of Shiroyama have since become emblematic of the samurai's unwavering loyalty and commitment to their code of honor, even as the world around them changed irrevocably.